thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity, Board, to be a finalist for the next superintendent of Greater Clark County Schools. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Appreciate the work that's gone into preparing for this evening. Renee, thank you. Aaron, I know has done a lot of work behind the scenes, so thank you as well. I really appreciate all the time and effort and energy. This is a long, exhausting process. However, it's critical that you bring the right individual into a situation that hopefully can lead the school corporation in the direction that will benefit all of our students. I really appreciate you for being here tonight, and I look forward to getting to know you and the rest of the community on a far closer level and basis. I think I really want to focus for a minute, if I could, on who I am as a person. Because sometimes you look at a title and you look at the experience and the background, and those are words. I'm proud of what's been accomplished, but I think more important is who am I as a person. And first and foremost, I'm a husband. My wife is Carla. I have 3 children, so I'm a father. Jake is 14, Ellie is 12, Luke is 9. And it's my great hope that on Monday they'll be able to come down and be introduced to the community because I love them more than anything. So husband and father first. And I think that's important because I have a vested interest in the school corporation. And I have a vested interest in the community. I think that's one of the things that you'll see from me, is you'll see me in the community a great deal. You'll see us in our schools a great deal. I think work ethic is something that describes me. I was very lucky. I had a father that worked very hard his whole life, taught me the value of working hard, and I respect him more than any other person. So I think what you'll see from me is someone that will work very hard at what I do. And the other thing that he instilled in me is integrity. I do what I say. I don't mislead. Honesty is something that is extremely important to me, and is extremely important for those around me. So I think that you may, over the time that I'm here as superintendent, and it's my hope that'll be a long time, that you'll see that you may not always agree with everything that I may say, or decisions that I may make, or recommendations that I may make, but you can always trust that I'm making those decisions based upon looking at what's in the best interest of our school corporation, and in particular our students. As an educator, you'll find that kids are first. And I think that it's one thing for everyone to say that kids are first. It's another thing to make sure that through your actions, kids are first. So when decisions are made, we have to first and foremost think about how is that decision going to impact our students. And so kids are first, and I really want to make a difference. You know, that's why I think coming to Greater Clark was so enticing to me, is because this school corporation has made some great strides academically. You can be very proud of that, and I know and I'm confident that those academic achievement will continue to be at the forefront. But I also believe that it's important for all of us as educators to do everything in our power every day to make a difference in kids' lives. And I really believe that with my background and experience, that is a very important reason why I want to come to Greater Clark, because I want to be able to make a difference in the lives of the 10,000 plus students that we have here. Student achievement, as I mentioned, is very important, and I look forward to working with our team here to make sure that we continue to move forward and continue the great strides that have already been accomplished. But I also believe that student achievement is accomplished one student at a time. And through my experiences that I've had and the achievement gains that have been experienced is because of a staff that dedicated themselves to identifying what's important in every student, what are those skills that they may need some assistance with, how can we then develop a plan that will improve and close whatever achievement gaps exist. So to me, the focus needs to be on improving student achievement one student at a time, and I know that that's been a big part of why you've been making the progress that you've made here. I mentioned team. Team is another one of those terms that can be easily thrown about, but it's true that no one person can make all the difference. That it's important that we all work together. Everyone at this front table has to work together to make sure that we're doing the things that are in the best interest of our school corporation. But you know, it's important that all the way down through the organization, everyone understands and is part of the process. I really believe in informing and engaging people. That's staff, that's parents, that's community. It's important people stay informed. It's important that people stay educated. It's important that people stay engaged. So those are three key terms I think that you'll hear a lot from me. And accountability is something that I don't fear. In fact, I invite. I think we have probably the most important jobs in the country, and that is educating young people. And I think we need to be held accountable on a daily basis to that. Our teachers and support staff on the front lines every day, you're accountable to your students. And I know that. And I think that that has to be what is the major focus all the way up and down the line, is that we will be held accountable. If we're going to do something, then let's make sure we measure it, and let's make sure we're making a difference. And we have to be responsible, and it starts with me. That if something that we choose to do is not working, we need to be strong enough to stand up and tell people that it is my responsibility that it didn't work. So any decision that I've ever made in my career, I've always taken responsibility for it. And I will continue to do that here. From a future perspective, I think one of the first things that I'm going to need to focus on is just getting to know you. And one of the things that I would like to see happen is throughout the month of July that I schedule a series of opportunities around our entire community where I'm getting out and I'm talking to our staff and I'm talking to our parents and I'm talking to our community. So it's important that Renee is going to be busy in July helping me schedule, and she didn't know this, by the way, probably, but I need her help because we need to schedule opportunities to get out in the community and give people an opportunity to talk. And I need to be able to listen, and I need to be able to find out what are those things that are important to you, important to the rest of our staff, important to the rest of our community. Because the more familiar I am with you, then the better decisions that we can make together moving forward. I think one of the last things I just need to address, and there was an article in the paper apparently this morning, and the article related to some issues related to an audit that was done, and some things were mentioned related to budget and so on. I didn't get a chance to read the article, but I heard about it. And I just think that, you know, in the spirit of making sure that everyone understands the kind of person that I am, that we clarify some things. First of all, like any other school system in the state of Indiana, the Valparaiso Community Schools has suffered a tremendous setback and reduction in state revenue and local revenue. So from 2010 through 2012, almost $5 million of revenue per year has been reduced from our general fund budget. 2011 alone, the impact of the tax caps on local revenue was $1.5 million in Valparaiso. Now, from a budgetary perspective, I was there my first year. I had a chief financial officer that was in his 6th year, and he retired in March of my first year. And we had a plan that we had set in place to reduce expenditures. And in fact, with his help, we did reduce expenditures by about $1.5 million. That wasn't enough. So we had to form a committee. We had a core team of teachers and central office administrators and school board members. And it took us maybe 5 months' time, but we had an expenditure reduction plan approved by our board with the goal to have a balanced budget by the end of the 2013 school year. Now, my colleagues around the state of Indiana, starting in 2010 and all the way through current day, have all had to deal with those similar issues. Now, audit. An audit was done of the school corporation. The audit period was from July of 2009 through June of 2011. And so I was there for the second year of that audit. And our chief financial officer, who was responsible for the financial aspect of our operation, had been there for 5 or 6 years. Well, when our new CFO came on board in June of 2011, she is a very meticulous individual. She calls herself a crop duster because she flies at a very low level because she's very detail oriented. Our past CFO was more at the 30,000-foot level, was very more looking at the larger picture. And what happened starting in June of 11, that we identified several practices, nothing illegal, nothing unethical, but several practices that were just basically a failure to be attentive to detail. And so the new CFO and myself worked diligently to identify those practices and make the appropriate changes. So anytime we identified any concern or issue with our practice, because there was not enough attention to detail, we made the appropriate correction. Two particular issues. There's the Jumbotron issue, which was a large football scoreboard that had a large Jumbotron screen. And that was a major issue in our school corporation. First and foremost, you need to know that it had been past practice for our athletic department to make large purchases over $50,000, whether it was football helmets or a swimming scoreboard. It had been past practice to use athletic department funds for athletic department expenditures. These are non-taxable funds. These are coming from gate receipts and so on. It was past practice that they did this. Now, so the athletic director made a decision to look into the Jumbotron. And he made the choice, working with our principal, and I was made aware that there was an interest in pursuing this Jumbotron. I made it very clear that there was no way that we would use school funds, tax funds, for any part of that Jumbotron. However, in the 2-week period between the time I was made aware until the purchase, I found out that it had already been purchased, the athletic department had gone ahead and had purchased the Jumbotron. It never came through me for my approval. As soon as that happened, I gathered my administrative team together and I said to them, there will never be another situation again in which any purchase is made, whether it's taxable funds or other school-related funds like the athletic fund, where purchases are made of that magnitude, anything over $50,000, without my approval in consultation with our chief financial officer. Also, our policy, we had a public purchasing policy that stated $50,000 was the threshold. We made the decision that it did not have a clarifying statement about purchases outside of tax funds. So we made sure that a statement was put in policy to assure that that would never occur again. So I want you to know that whenever we discovered a past practice, we immediately addressed it, whether it was through administrative guidelines or through policy. We immediately addressed those issues. And I think it's very important that you hear that from me, and anyone here is more than welcome to contact anyone who is knowledgeable of this in Valparaiso, because they'll confirm that. And I just think that it's important that the facts come out so that you are aware of that. Financially, experiencing the same things in Valparaiso that unfortunately you're experiencing here in Greater Clark that has been experienced all over the state.